Hi, this is Chris Hoy. Thank you for joining me today on Create with Chris. Today I'm going to show you some of my favorite painting tools, the Painter's Pals. And they've been popular for obvious reasons, but today I want to share with you some of the maybe not quite so well-known features of these tools. Lindsay is here with me today to help man the questions and answer everything and make sure everything flows seamlessly. So give a shout out and say hi. Let us know where you're from or where you're at. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments and Lindsay will get back with you right away. Be sure to say hi and give us a thumbs up so that you won't miss out on upcoming videos. We do have a new recording studio, so everything is just a little bit different this time. I hope you'll enjoy some of the projects we have behind. We've been working really hard to come up with some new and exciting things I think you guys are gonna love. So let's get started. What are the painting tools? These are the painting tools. There's 11 different ones in total, and we have more on the horizon. And Lindsay's here behind me. Technical difficulties. Lindsay's my IT person, and she always works through everything. Are we good to go?
You froze. Keep going.
Okay, we'll just move on. The reason that these came about is that I have difficulty with circles and round things and straight lines, and I thought a template would be nice to help solve that problem. We create here at Cupboard Distributing, we have our own lasers, we create our own stencils. So I sketched out an idea and took it back to our stencil department, and this is actually the first one that was created. No, actually, I'm sorry. This is the first one that was created, the ovals and the rounds. And I was so excited. My gosh, this became my best painting friend. I could easily create eyes, berries, bubbles, any round shapes perfectly and easily. Have this straight edge so I could make sure everything was lined up. It simplified my painting skills and made my designs look perfect every time. And I know we all strive to get that perfect look. And when you're doing eyes, have you ever painted an eye? It was just a little too small, and then you made it a little bigger, and that was bigger than the other one, back and forth, and you end up with these ginormous eyes. So this is really a good way to simplify that, make the painting so much easier. Each one of these templates has different shapes, so in assorted sizes, so you can see why they're very valuable tools to keep on hand. But if you notice also, the edges are different on all of these, and we'll talk about that. This is another asset that maybe you are not so familiar with, but it just makes painting so much easier and smoother. So I know many of you have quite a few of these already, so I hope today you'll pick up a few new tips and tricks to make them even more invaluable. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. I thought it might be easier if I just showed some samples and we kind of went from there. This is my Peeps tiered tray. I did a series of tiered trays. I don't have room in my house to put a tiered tray, so I thought it would be fun just to paint one up and then I could swap it out. But on the tiered tray, I have the heart shape, and that's from my handy helper. It has a different heart shape, so I did the birdhouse hole. I mean, how easy is that? I used the floral friend for all of the flowers. And what's nice about the floral friend is that it not only has this particular flower, but there's other flowers as well. And the leaves on this, I did not use the leaf template for the leaves. I just used my brush to create it, but I did use it quite a few times on some of the other ones that I'm showing. The little feet on this, oh my goodness. Just pick out a circle, create the little round feet, super, super easy. These are my Lucky Book Stack ornaments. And I think you can see, I'm gonna put that back. You can see all the different ones that I used here. This is from the Sparkle Pal. This is one of my very favorites. I love this one because it has so many different really nice size snowflakes and sparkles. That's what I use for that. And then also on the coins, I use the oval to just kind of base them in, and then added the sides to them. The nose for the little leprechaun is an oval. Just the little holes for the horseshoe. See how easy that is? And you can see how this kind of goes on and on and on. On this patriotic, and I did the Easter flowers, but on this one I used the other flower that was on the floral fringe, and you can see what a difference that makes. I did use the rounds for the center of these on the white centers on the daisies. For that I went back to an oval. I didn't want it round. So you can see I intertwine them so that you can use one or the other. We tried to include little stems and leaves, everything to make this easy. But look at that little tiny flower. To pop those in, how nice is that? Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. Oops. I'm gonna have to hop up and pull one down off of the wall. All right, on this, look at all these little eyeballs. Everyone is perfect, and that's because I use my Painter's Pal for everything. The little ovals for the eyes, the little rounds for the cat eyes. Super, super easy. I did use on the pumpkin noses, the little triangles. Pop those in real quick. I'm telling you, these tools are just ideal to help create. There's that little oval for the collar on the little cat. See how you can pop that in there? Yeah, I can paint it, but why work so hard when these tools are so ideal to add those in so quickly? This is my little Frauenstein. I use these painter's tools almost every time I paint. I had so much fun with this guy. Okay, we'll start at the top. There's the oval for the spider. I've got the round eyes for the frog. I did the ovals for the little screw nails or screw heads, ovals for the eyes, triangle for the nose, and then look at the little fingers. I just used another round to stencil those in. You cannot tell me that this looks like it was a stenciled piece. And we did not have this at the time, but I'm telling you what, this is one of our newer ones, and it came out, I think,
End of last year.
yeah, end of last year. It came out a little bit later, but to add all these little bats in the background, look at these cute little bats on here. So easy. Absolutely love how that works out. And it does make your painting life so much easier. And it makes you look good as well. I like anything that makes...
And it should be said that these stencils are about index card size, roughly,
Yeah.
these tools. So they're nice that you can tuck into your painting bag when you go to class.
Oh yeah, they're very portable. You share them with your friends. This is another one, and on this one I used the peppermint to create this little wrapped candy, and it comes with a wrapper, so you can put the wrapper on there and dry brush over it and get that really nice kind of translucent effect. And then I just went back and did my magic with shading and highlighting. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit on that. I just think that is such a cool little feature to do that. I use the rounds for the candies. I use the rounds for the bubbles. Again, the angle on the pumpkin, the nose, the eyes, on the little ghost. If you use a round, you can just simply dry brush it, and it creates that nice little soft cheek. You can see why these are just ideal. This is the Bubble Buddy, and it's a little bit, it has more from teeny tiny to larger for the size on the bubbles. But the candies, you can see all the different elements on this. And it just looks really complicated. But I like something to look like it took me tons of time, and I think all these little details, if they are really crisp and clean and nice, then it adds so much to the finished piece. Okay, tennis shoe Ted. He's another one that I wish I would have had. This is a newer template, the Foliage Friend. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It has all these different leaf shapes and sizes, maple leaves and oak leaves, but look at this hat. I worked hard on these leaves, but I'm telling you, if I'd have had this, I would have just popped that in there and stenciled it in and then worked my magic on it. I want to talk a little bit about the edges, because that's what I used when I created these feathers. I just went and drew down the edge so they all had a really nice shape. So that's one of the more obscure elements of the stencils or the templates that you can use to create shapes very easily with. Another one that I thought was kind of fun, this was all about the tennis shoes, but I wanted to put, what is this, a Nike, or it's a little star?
Converse.
Converse, okay, I get this right. But I used a circle to create the background, and then I put a star over top of it. And I wanted to share with you, because sometimes when working with these, the elements are kind of close together. So when I went back to put the star on, because I didn't want to get paint anywhere else, I think I used the little bit bigger one here. I don't want to get paint around that, so I just took one of my circles and I laid it over top, and that's going to mask off the surrounding areas. So when I stencil that star, I think I'll go just a bit smaller here. When I go to stencil that star, I'm not going to get my paint anywhere else. And you can use painter's tape to mask that off. But gosh, if you double these up, it's just super simple to get that in there and not get a mess anywhere else. The rustic sunflowers, I love this one. I love fall, I love all the fall colors. But when I painted this, let me get that in there just a little smaller, okay. I wanted this down here to be just really precise and perfect. So I used the circles to create the berries. Every one of them is the same size. A lot of times I'll vary the sizes just for a little more interest, but because there is so much detail up here, I wanted to keep this pretty simplified. So I did all the berries the exact same size, and then I went back with my floral friend and I did all the leaves exactly the same size. Now, just because I did these the same size doesn't mean I didn't overlap them or create some interest, but I thought they turned out beautifully. It was so easy because these are just perfectly identical, which is exactly what I wanted. That created that look I was going for, and I didn't have to struggle with trying to make sure they were the same size. And I could trace them out and paint them all in, but again, honestly, you cannot tell me when you look at this that it looks like these are stenciled in there.
Nancy asked, how many Painter's Palace tools are there now?
There are a total of 11 painter's tools, and I believe if you want all of them, there's a bundle and it's at a discounted price. Lindsay's gonna post that information in there. Okay, this is one I just finished. I don't know if I can show this on here very well. This is so cute. Let me go out just a little bit. My in and out button's not working the way I want it. Okay, we'll just go this way. This is a box, and what's kind of fun about this is that the pieces Velcro off and on, so yeah, you guessed it. This comes off as well. We're going to be doing different sets to change the box out. So the box is by itself. I can go out just a little bit. Okay, we'll do it this way. Okay, I wanted to show how big this is. I always get this mixed up here. Okay, so this is really a nice size box, and you can put all kind of neat things inside of it. And I did finish the inside as well as the outside on this box. But what I thought was kind of fun is putting these, putting these little nail holes. You guessed it, I did use my little Bubble Buddy to stencil those in. I just dry brushed them in, but then I went back and added the shading and highlighting, and they look so realistic. I used, where is that? The texture brush to add the wood grain effect, and then add the nails in there, a little bit of shading. Oh my gosh, it looks great. I used the ovals for the eyes, and then I put some holly on the head. And I don't know about you guys, but painting holly is probably one of my least favorite things to do. I like the way it looks, but look at that. If I could just pop that in there and drop that holly in there, and it looks fantastic. So it's just a great way to add a little bit of design very easily and very perfectly. We like that perfection look. But this is such a cute design. And then I wanted to show you, look at his little cheeks. Instead of putting a highlight on there, I decided to go back with this little starburst. You can see that on there. Just put that on his cheeks. Create that beautiful little sparkle. Up here on his hat are the little snowflakes. Aren't they adorable? I just think that adds so much. And they didn't show up super well, so I used modeling paste on it just to give them a little bit of dimension and a little more opacity. I put the stencil down and then just took my palette knife and just kind of go over it with a little bit of texture paste, modeling paste, and then lift it up. But you do have to wait until it dries completely before you add the next one, because it's a little bit thicker, takes a little bit longer to dry. I did the same thing on the cheeks. I wanted it to be a stronger, brighter sparkle, so I did add the Glimmer Dust to that, or to make them stand out just a little bit more. So you need to keep an eye out for more pieces to be added to that box, because I think that is the cutest thing ever. All right, we're going to go back to more tiered trays. And this is the Christmas tiered tray. I use the round for all of the candies, all of the berries. All throughout there. I did use the oval for the noses. On this little candy here, I don't know if you can see, this has a two-tone spot on it, dot. So I used the bigger one for the outer, and because I don't want to get anything on this little gingerbread, I just grab another one and bump it up against. I'm going to lean it right against the edge of that wrapper. so I can put my little spot on there. I did white first, stencil that in there, and then when that dried, I went over with a smaller center and put the green in it. So I get this layered spot dot on the candy. I think it looks so cute. It adds so much design and interest. These little swirls, I just use this to lay over it. And again, because I didn't want to get it on the tray, I'm going to put the swirl down, and then I'm going to lay this right there underneath of it. It's going to mask it off. Now I can use tape, but tape and I are not good friends at all. I'd really rather not mess with tape. The only thing I would do is get a little bit of tape before I stencil, once I get it lined up. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape right there to keep it from moving around while I stencil that in there. It's just a great way to add perfect design. I did down there and up there as well. Just really a fun way to create that perfect design. Now on his little hat or head, I have the holly leaves that I wanted to use, but they weren't situated correctly. So there are single leaves on here. So I could use just a little single leaf and put it exactly where I want it to be. I think I bumped it down just a little bit in size. So the single leaves are there. There's double leaves. So you can situate the clusters or single leaves any way that you prefer. It's just a really great way to add that design on there exactly the way you like it. And back down here also on the little feet, I did use the bigger Bubble Buddy to add the feet on there. My feet are perfect. All my circles are perfect, and that's probably the one thing I struggle with the most, is trying to get nice round elements on my projects. I just want to show a few more here of the different examples, because even when, and this piece is cut out so the edges are rounded, and you think, okay, well I can just create the top part, but you don't need to. If you get the Bubble Buddy, you can just line that up, stencil each one of those in there, and look how perfect that makes it look. Use the bigger one for the larger ornament. I used the oval for the eyes, just different sizes. I used the round for the pupils and the iris. Just makes it so easy. And then, of course, I used the little snowflake template to create the falling snow.
Brenda was asking about the ovals for the eyes. Can you show the original Painter's Pal?
Okay, this
You
is,
just had it, yeah.
yeah, this is the original Painter's Pal. And there are many, many, many different sizes, so you can get a wide array. This one has oval for the eyes. This one's a little bit bigger. But look at these eyes. I mean, they're just so pretty. Little heart cheeks. Oh my gosh. How perfect are those? Use a little heart stencil on here. And for the peppermints, I use, the peppermint stencil. So if you take and break it down, the nose and the eyes were a stencil. The cheeks were a stencil. And then the peppermint was a stencil also. So we have here these three stencils. We've almost have it, all the detail locked in there. Oh, and don't forget the sparkle for over here. That's part of the little sparkle for here. And I did use different sizes on those. I thought that looked really cute. I did a whole set of these book stacker Christmas ornaments. And with the Painter's Pals, oh my gosh, it went so quickly. This one is for the snowman. Again, I used the oval for the eyes. I used the little holly for the decoration, the little snowflakes on the background. And it's just adorable. How easy is that? Use the oval for the nose, and I bumped down and did a smaller eye, and you can see each one of these eyes are a different size, and you get a totally different look from all the different sizes on the eyes. But I will tell you, each one is perfect because I use my little template on there. I use this little sparkle for the gingerbread. I use the starburst for the Santa, and I use the snowflake for the snowman. And what's nice about that, all three of those designs are on the one template. So you don't have to, and they're not expensive. So these are something you can keep right at your fingertips and create so much with just using these stencils. And I call them templates. They're not really stencils because I think stencils got a bad rap years ago. But these are painting tools, and they really, really do make your life so much easier. I think one of the ones I didn't talk about yet, and this is I wanted to share this one because this one is so cool. This is the Box Buddy, and I use this to create the little presents, and you can go smaller or larger, but I wanted the tall one, and I wanted a different size, so I went bigger with the tall one. I can zoom in just a little bit. And can you see how the snow scoops around the base of that? Just super easy, because you know how hard it is with white to cover up a darker paint. So I'll put that on there. I'm just gonna stick some tape on there to hold it in so I don't, I've got Velcro on the back so it's not sitting flat. Just going to grab the Holly Helper. All right, see how this has a scalloped edge on it? This is the Holly Helper, but look at this. I can nestle this right down here at the base of that rectangle, and I can stencil the present and have just a little scoop on the bottom. And this has different size scoops on it, so I can just pick which one I want. And I can create that look of a snowdrift without having to go in and paint it super heavy and super opaque. The moon is a stencil or a template. Just really makes all this little tiny detail that everyone cringes about, painting all that little tiny stuff. This will make your life so much easier. Okay, check out this one. This is a fun ornament that I created. It has everything in it. We've got a little round, we've got the blocks, building blocks. And it sounds simple to just take your number 6 flat and just create a block, but this one is going to be absolutely perfect. I can lightly dry brush it in and then go back and add all that detail. So I created the blocks, and then even on this beach ball, I used the circle stencil or template to create that look of the beach ball. On the hat, I used the Holly Helper. Okay. I thought it would be fun to just do a little bit of a demo to show some of the other things that are fun to do with these templates. If you want a teeny tiny little peppermint, they are so easy to create with the Peppermint Pal. But look at the buttons. The buttons are even smaller. So where is my, I've kind of piled them up. So the buttons are smaller than my smallest template. So how do I create an even tinier peppermint? Well, it's just super simple. I just go in with either my Painter's Pal thought if I laid these all out, they'd be really simple to find, but. Okay, I'm just gonna go in with a much smaller, and you can see the different sizes of the peppermints. Let me make that a little bigger. Goes down to that size, but I want smaller. So what I can do is just go in and stencil the very small peppermint that I want. All right, and once I get that stenciled in, I'm going to go in with my smallest peppermint. I'm going to center it right on I know it's kind of hard to see. I'll see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. So all I can see is the red, but I want it smaller, and I'm going to take that down. So I'm going to go in with that same one that I stenciled it with, this one, and I'm going to bump down the size of that peppermint stripe. So now when I go in to stencil the red, I'm reducing the size of that peppermint, so it's going to be just teeny, teeny, tiny. So not only can I create these bigger peppermints, which is actually the smallest one on the template, but then I can go to my Painter's Pal and I can bump down the size just by using the Painter's Pal to mask it off and make it even tinier. I just think that's so nice to be able to use these with such versatility. My notes.
Right here?
Another sheet. Oh, okay. Here we go. Another one that I thought would be kind of fun, and I haven't used this one yet, but let's move this out of the way. This is the acorn, and I'm just going to grab a stencil brush real quick because I wanted to give this one a try, and I think that it's going to show how nice it is not only to be able to have variety on these templates, but it's going to show how to use the edges as well. I'm just going to get a little bit of paint on these are my Spectacular stencil brushes. If you've not used them yet, oh my gosh, they are a super soft bristle brush, so that it's going to be very, very easy to dry brush with. And you see how close this is? I don't want to get paint there. So I'm just going to grab my I tell you, I've got things kind of held up here. Okay, I'm going to grab my Bubble Buddy. Just going to pop it in there so I can mask that off so I don't have any up there. Another thing that I can do.
Can you scoot up a bit? It looks like you're off camera.
I think I did scoot over. It's on now.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I can use these, like the cutout edges, to mask that off. And I'm just going to kind of dry brush that in a little bit. Oops. Nice. Smear that just a little. Should have taped it down. I know better than that. And I want to paint the top of it just a little bit of a darker color. And I don't want to have to worry about painting over it, so I'm just going to put this back. And I am going to tape it this time just so that I don't get out of line. And I'm going to use the roundness of this. And I'm going to create that cap. And look at that sweet little acorn. Very nice. I didn't quite have that all. I'm really a messy stenciler, so that's why I should have stuck with the round when I did that. I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to put this over it so we have a nice tidy one. Okay. And then I'll grab a little bit of the darker color. I'm going to line that up. And stencil that on there. This one should be perfect. Okay, now we're looking good. So this is how you can use the edges. There's different points. Each one has an edge that is really nice. I did a canoe and I needed a western border. Just line that up and created the trim work using that. I wanted to show another really nice way to layer these stencils or templates. Let's move this over. I painted these little eyes, and I didn't want them oval and I didn't want them round. I was trying to figure out how I was going to make these work. So I took and decided what size eye I wanted. Line that up. And then I put a little bit of a curve on it. Let's see, we'll go with that size. And this little roundness on this palette, so easy to work with. I wanted just a little bit of an eyelid. So I put that on there. And then I can stencil the eye. I wanted just a little bit of a curve on the other side as well. So I've got my eye masked off. I can stencil that in here. And I'm going to leave these all together. I'm just going to clean it so I don't get paint on anything. There's one eye. I'm just going to flip it over. And I can create the other eye. And I've got my two little eyes that kind of match. Now all I have to do is go in and add my shading and my highlighting, and they're perfect. So not only can you use these templates as they are, but you can layer them on top of each other, change the shape, use only half of it, but if you want to cut them in half, just put this template right beside it. Then you only have a half of a circle. Okay. If you want to have a little crescent circle, and put that on there. Create a crescent circle on these little starburst. Sometimes I don't want a round one. I want more of an oval shape. So what I can do is take the stencil. Let's go down a little bit in size. Gonna overlay it. You notice I haven't cleaned or added any more paint to my brush yet, but look at that. Instead of a round starburst, I have it more of an oval one. This is more of a sparkle, simply by overlaying these. Now, you might ask about cleaning them, and I know there's a lot of controversy on when to clean stencils, but I will tell you on these painter's tools, one of the biggest benefits that I find is the fact that they are opaque, so that when I go to add a little highlight in the eye, I can see my exact placement. If I have a lot of paint on it, sometimes it's just a little bit heavy and dark and you can't see placement. Also, for example, on this little starburst, you can see how teeny tiny these lines are. Once you get paint built up on this little tiny detail, it becomes smaller and smaller, and pretty soon you don't have these little crisp, sharp edges. So I recommend cleaning them often, just to make it easier to work with. You can use a soft, gentle soap. Lindsay's over there laughing.
Marianne Eversole.
Oh, Marianne, I know you never clean.
We just buy new ones instead of cleaning. I'm lazy.
You can do that too, but, all right, here's what I do. We've all got tons of hand sanitizer from COVID. These are tiny, so you don't want to.
Pam Brightline just said that.
Yeah, you
Use
don't.
Purell.
Don't want to scrub them with a brush. Even a soft brush can be hard on. So I just take my finger and I go like this, and I flip it over and I go like that, and then I gently take my little brush. Put just a little bit, this is a tiny little detail. Just gonna take my stencil brush and look at that. It looks almost brand new.
It's kind of funny. On Thursday's live, we posed the same question of whether or not people clean their
Yeah.
stencils. On that live, no one cleaned their stencils. This live, most people clean their stencils.
Okay, so it is, if it's a bigger stencil, I will admit, sometimes I don't clean the bigger ones as often, but out of experience, I found out that these little ones clog up pretty quick with paint. So cleaning them just will make your life easier, because I've struggled with trying to get perfect little shapes from a dirty stencil, and it's a lot of work. So yeah, I just kind of do the Purell thing and cleans them nice and tidy. But I wanted to share how many different ways these can be used. I told you before, I just really have a difficult time with straight lines. So if you have a straight edge on what you're working with, if you line the edge of the painter's palette up, then you can go across, you know that line's gonna go straight across the middle. So often I will use this instead of my T-square, and almost all, I think all of them have, even if they have a rounded corner, these edges are straight, and our lasers are really, have perfect precision. So, you know, if you line it up on the side, every line's gonna be straight. Even on this one, it has the scallops on it. You've got this edge over here, and you can see I use this a lot to do different things with. So I can line this up. Again, I have that straight edge, so it's really nice to keep these edges straight. I know when I did these, when I did the windshields, I'm not sure which one I used, but I used one of these to kind of tuck in those windshields so that I could get that nice curve on it. So these are kind of my go-to templates for anything that I want to ensure that I have a nice, perfect little shape for it. They're just amazing. So, Purell, that's a good thing to keep on hand. And I'm not real big advocate of cleaning my stencils right away, but if I have Purell right there, and it sounds like I'm lazy, but my Purell at home has a little pump on it, so I can just reach over and get a little pump and clean them up very quickly that way. And if they're not really dirty, you can go back with a little bit of water and just clean them up. See these edges? I do use these a lot. So are there any questions, Lindsay?
Not really. Everyone, like I said, most people clean them each time is what the consensus is.
That's what the teacher says is a good thing to do. I have a little envelope taped to the side of my brush rack, and I just drop these in so they're always right there at my fingertips. There's always something that I can use them for. I use these, honestly, every time I paint, every design I paint, I always use a painter's pal somewhere in
At
it.
least one. Yeah.
At least, yeah. This little guy, he turned, I enjoyed painting him. I did the 12 Days of Christmas, and this was 10 sleigh bells jingling, and my mind was kind of cringing at the thought of painting 10 little jingle bells. But I'll tell you what, with my painter's pal, this was a real snap. And this one, when I put the holly leaves on, they weren't quite where I wanted them. So I did use the individual leaf and just kind of stuck it where it needed to be. So they're just so versatile. You don't have to use them as they are. You can use them in combination with other stencils. This was another one that I just wasn't sure that was going to work out the way it was laying out. So I had to rearrange. On this one, I used the cluster of 2, and then I just added the 3rd leaf on the holly. So I think you will enjoy playing around with these. I love them. I use them every single time I paint for some reason or the other. Some I don't use as often. I'm getting ready to do some Halloween design, so I'm thinking, actually, this is one I did over the weekend. I'll have to share this one because I thought he turned out pretty cute. This is no tricks, just treats. And again, use the painter's pal for the eyes and the noses. Not a difficult thing to do.
When did the Foliage Friend come out? That was before the Halloween one, right?
Yes, Foliage Friend with the maple
That was
leaves. And
September, I think,
Yeah.
because Jen was on vacation. 'Cause
Yeah.
She named, yeah, so it was September.
I'm anxious to use that because I'm telling you, look at all the detail on this. It's just absolutely precise and perfect.
This design
For
that
all
she's
that.
showing just literally was uploaded to the site 30 minutes ago.
Yeah,
It's brand new, brand new.
I painted it over the weekend and brought it in yesterday and said, hey, cut me a stencil. So they did a stencil for the words. I took it home and painted it last night, and the pattern is online today. So I'm thinking Halloween already. I know many of you are working on spring and summer projects, but gosh, Halloween's kind of my wheelhouse. I love the fall and the Halloween colors. So any other questions, Lindsay?
Okay, so someone said they're coming in late, are they on sale? You can get all 11 in a special bundle for only $29.95 right now, and I will link that in the chat.
Oh, what a great deal. What's so nice about these is they are 100% reusable. I've never really had to replace them. Just make sure you store them flat. The only one I've had trouble with, because I wasn't kind, you have to be careful with these little swirls. They're a little bit delicate, but that was my fault. I didn't store it correctly, and when I went to use it, my little swirls were sticking up instead of laying down. So make sure you store them nice and flat. I have an envelope beside my brush rack. I stick them in. It just makes them easy. They're right at my fingertips, ready to use anytime that I need them.
And our stencils are made of 7mm material, so it is a durable stencil material. It's not thin at all.
No.
And these stencils do hold up very, very well. I mean, Jen and I are very abusive towards the stencils, and they can withhold us, so.
Yes, unless it's delicate and you can hear.
Yes, Mary Ann, you can get all 11 for $29.95.
That's-
Otherwise, they're $3.45 a piece.
What a good deal. So stock up. You might get 2 sets, Mary Ann, just in case. That way you'll never have to clean them. Okay. Well, I hope you learned a few new tips and tricks on using the Painter's Pal. They are such a benefit to painters. I should move that back. Okay, sorry about that. They do make your painting life a lot easier. They're going to make you look better. You're going to have perfect circles and ovals and holly leaves and flower petals. Just a really, really nice way to add that tiny detail that everybody dreads. And once that base coat is stenciled in there, and I use just a little bit of paint and do a dry brush to get that shape there, then I can go in with my angles and shaders and add that detail that makes it look amazing. So just because it's stenciled, just because you've used these tools to create it, doesn't stop there. However, if you just want to add some design, it's a great way to add design easily.
Mary Ann says she has 2 and 3 of some of them, but how can she pass that deal up?
That is a good deal.
And before we go, should we talk about Christmas Unwrapped? Christmas
Unwrapped. Oh my gosh, this is a new program that we just started this year. Jen and Lindsay kind of created the idea, and it's an amazing new subscription box that's going to go out 4 times a year. There'll be at least 4 ornaments, and they're the layered ornaments. So that's what the biggest trend is right now, and they are just adorable. The first box is going out March 15th. However, we do have an intro special right now, so until the end of the month. So make sure you sign up before March 1st because the price is going to go up. But there's it has 4 ornaments in it. There's a bonus ornament. There's a detailed step-by-step pattern for each ornament that is just really, I'm excited because they turned out so cute. And then Jen and Lindsay have created a semi-pro pattern for, it's just not as detailed. So if you have a friend that you want to paint with that says, I can't do all that detailed stuff, this is just perfect. And they are darling just without all the detail. They're just adorable. Everything is listed. There's a freebie with the box.
A free gift with each box that's shipped.
A bonus.
There's also, each kit will have like an embellishment thing. Like for instance, the first one will have beads and twine in it. That's all we're saying. Mm-hmm. And then maybe some other treats.
Oh yeah, we do have some surprises to put in it. But it's going to be a fun box, and it's a really good deal. You get with this first one, there's going to be 5 ornaments, 2 pattern packets, the embellishments, a bonus, just a lot of goodies. So you don't want to miss out on this. And sign up before the end of the month, and you'll get a discount intro price as well. And Lindsay's going to put all the links below, right?
Yep, they're already in the chat.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be 4 times a year, so you can be creative all year round. Okay, so any other questions? Did we miss anything?
No. Pam said, love this demo. Thank you, ordered the bundle. Marty says, always love your demos. Thank you. Marianne says, already got mine, getting a pool. Mental health days at Marianne's.
Oh, sweet. So we have a new studio today, so I was a little nervous because we've been working trying to get everything to flow easily, but I think it's going to work out really well, and I hope you like the way it looks because they've worked really hard to get this all set up. New changes in the future, so be sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the bell. That way you won't miss out on upcoming videos.
And be sure to check out Jen and possibly myself will be doing demos next Thursday on stenciling.
Yes.
Most likely it's going to be Jen.
Okay, well, let me tell you something because I am so proud of these girls. 2 years ago, I couldn't get a brush in their hands, but they have decided to step out of their comfort zone, and they are starting to paint, and not only just base coat painting, but I have seen ombre backgrounds. I have seen them incorporate stenciling into their designs, and believe it or not, they added a little shading, so they're doing great. And they have such a good eye for color and layout, and I always overthink these simple designs, but they really created some beautiful, beautiful. I think you can see behind me over here and over here, some of the, can I do this?
You should be able to.
Yeah, some of the designs that they've created
Oh,
with
thank you,
the
Anne.
backgrounds, yeah.
Anne said she's really impressed with us. We've come a long way.
Yeah, so, stay tuned for that. It's a fun way. If, sometimes you don't want to sit down and paint for hours. You just want to create something quickly and beautifully, or you just need a gift that's going to make a great door hanger or put it in a wreath. A great way to create and also give a thoughtful gift. So.
Robin wants to know if you're going to be doing any Zoom classes anytime soon.
We've had so much going on this year that I've kind of put my classes on hold for just a little bit. I won't say no, but right now we need to get some other things, all together and lined up. So maybe a little bit later this year we'll be doing some classes, but right now I don't have anything on short, coming up in the short future, so.
Stay tuned. If we do, we'll announce it
Yeah.
for sure ahead of time.
Lindsay's really good about promoting and making sure that everybody, so sign up for our newsletter. If you don't get our newsletter, stay tuned to our Facebook page, sign up, subscribe on YouTube. That way you won't miss out.
Susan asked about the next Facebook Live. Yes, the first one of this year will be on February 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Mark your calendars. There's always great deals, and I'm telling you, the ones coming up are, I think everything's new, isn't it? Not new as in not ever been on Facebook
hasn't-
Live
Yeah,
before.
we try not to feature anything in a Facebook Live that's been featured in a Facebook Live before.
Yeah.
So,
So if you were here before and you thought, yeah, I don't want this same old stuff, it won't be. It's all new sales stuff, so you won't get bored. So, what does Jen say? It's practically free. You need it in your life.
you need it in your life.
Okay, we got that. So stay tuned for upcoming videos. Make sure to sign up for our newsletter. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Create with Chris, and you won't miss out on upcoming
And we are
videos.
also on Instagram as well.
Instagram, yeah, don't forget that. Okay, well, thank you for joining us today. I hope you learned a few new tips and tricks to make your painting life a little easier and a lot more fun. As always, remember, a little bit of paint makes a big difference. Thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to our next painting adventure together.